Okay, Gail, when we are presenting something on Zoom, how can we make it come to life? Because I must admit, a lot of times the presentations are kind of flat.
I'm so glad we're talking about this, Alex, because this is an area that many of us have an area to learn about and I think struggle with. First of all, Zoom is not a great platform for presenting because you don't have a captivated audience. You have people who are distracted. Some of them are not even on camera. You don't really know who you're talking to. So how do we really engage? How do we really utilize this platform to the best? I want to talk about three things: 20% louder, 20% bolder, and 20% more engaged. So let's start with 20% louder. Louder means how your ear is used to listening to your tone and your volume. When it comes to presenting on Zoom, you want to be louder for a couple of reasons. You want to wake up your audience for those who are distracted.
Yeah.
They're at home and the kids are crying, or
Right.
they're trying to get ready for whatever is their next presentation after yours. And so they're distracted. Louder, interesting enough, will automatically put more tone and variation, more inflection in our voice. 20% louder is really a key.
Makes sense.
And that makes sense, I think, for a lot of us. So that also means practicing it so your ear is used to it. Because some part of us go, ooh, that's too loud. You got to get used to it. And it might be you go to a colleague and play with that, what 20% really sounds like.
So just a question here, Gail. When you say 20% louder, it's not mechanical. It's coming from your lungs, from your throat.
Exactly. From you, 20% louder of you, meaning your brain is saying, ooh, I'm louder. And for some people, they'll say, oh, I'm too loud. And actually, 20% isn't too loud. It's really more comfortable when it comes to this medium.
Right.
Add to that 20% bolder. Bolder in a couple of ways. So if you look at lighting and both yours and my lighting, I'm sure we've all seen people who, especially if they're working from a home office, sometimes the lighting is poor. You only see a shadow. You'll see that I have lighting behind me. I also have a ring light in front of me. You do not want to make people struggle to see you, because if you do, you give them reason to check out and go do something else. The other part is looking how both of you are framed in the camera. Look at the difference if I was like this. And every now and then you see people present like this. And all you are saying to yourself is, what's wrong? Or do they even have any clothes on? Or what are they hiding? That's a big one. What are they hiding?
Yeah.
So you want to be bold. You want to be larger than life. You want to be bold. 20% bolder. So think about this platform is more difficult, and maybe we reach more people, but how we reach them is the key. So making sure it's really easy for people to see you. And then the other part about boldness is being willing to be genuine, giving a part of yourself. And that can mean giving an example that in another time you might not. It's got to tie into your message, but this is, there's a great presenters can really become great leaders, and great storytellers make us great presenters. So I was just recently in Montana at a hunting cabin, way off the beaten track. I learned to shoot a gun. Never knew how to shoot a gun before. And in that process, I was brought into a whole new arena, not only being out in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country, but doing new things. So now I want to talk to you about something new we're all facing, and that is Project XYZ. So you can tie it into your presentation, but I gave you a little piece of me, and that's part of the boldness. And this platform makes us want to be more distant, and we have to think consciously about putting ourselves more in it. That's the 20% bolder. And then the third part is 20% more engaged. I recommend that you think mini presentations when it comes to presenting in Zoom. Many people have their deck. You only see a little thumbnail of them and we're just watching their slides. slides are very important in your presentation. But I encourage you to give a few slides, pull away, have a moment of engagement. What do you think about what I just presented? How has this worked for you? How will you be able to apply this? Ask some really good questions and have a moment or two. Pause and let them think about it and let them engage. Then when you go back to your next few slides, they're going to be much more present with you. Also, it's so much easier for you as a presenter to know there's life out there. People have a pulse. People are really there listening to you. So thinking about 20% more engaged, meaning you got to provide the engagement. And if it's an audience that you don't really know, it may be you ask a question and ask everybody to write their answer in chat. And then you read a couple of those answers and then you say, oh, Mary, you said blah, 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 blah. Or Jose, you said this. Those people then feel personally acknowledged, and so does everybody. So this whole world of virtual presenting we can really become dynamic presenters if we are 20% louder, 20% bolder, and 20% more engaged.
Zoom is a visual medium too. And like you say, Boulder, you don't have to always stick with your slides. You can bring your face back in full screen from time to time to ensure that you're connecting with the audience too, and go back to your slides afterward.
Absolutely. So that's the whole key. And that many people shy away. They don't want to be seen. And the truth is, being seen is where the engagement factor is. We don't engage as much to slides. I mean, slides are very important, but it's this personal connection that's really going to pull people in. So thinking about ways to engage. Certainly you engage with telling stories, you engage with examples that are meaningful to everybody that is present, but pulling them out with some really dynamic questions and giving them an opportunity to speak, raise their hand, answer in chat. I've even recently been playing with asking everybody to say, okay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Let's see who's the first one to answer blah, 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 blah. And then before you know it, people are answering. So there's been a play with it.
The gameplay, yeah. Gamification, yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thank you for that. That's super helpful. Thank you, Gail.
You bet. Thank you, Alex.